So 4 reasons why I think we should all stop really focusing on goals and instead focus on the systems that get us to the goal. Number 1, and this is the most important thing, I think it stands out a lot. Winners and losers have the same goal. So what makes them different? It's the system. It's what are they doing to get to that goal, to practice, to prepare, to implement those things to get to the goal. So systems, I think, take the cake there. The second point, achieving goals, especially in trading, creates momentary change. But this system creates a way of life. It creates a lifestyle. It creates the freedom. It creates the ability to do what we all said we wanted to do at the beginning. The third point is I think goals can actually hold you back from happiness and hold you back from reaching your truest potential. Again, little rah-rah, little motivational there. Here I come, patting you on the back, Tony Robbins. But in reality, think about it. If you start telling yourself, I'm going to only, trade well until I make $1 million, chances are, in my opinion, and I'm young, like Derek said, but chances are you will not make $1 million. You're going to fall somewhere short of that because that's what we all do when we set monetary goals like that. So what I'm saying is instead of trying to 10x and go Grant Cardone and say I'm going to make 10 million and fall short, let's say that too. Both of them. We don't need any of them. Instead, what system is actually easy for me to follow every day in my business, whether it's trading or not? We're talking about trading. So what trading systems are easy for me to follow that create less friction and make the journey actually enjoyable? And that ties into the fourth point, which is that the goals do create this friction between each other against the long-term process, because you're hungry after your goal. You're Gary V, you're running in the dirt, you're going to eat it, you're going to eat it, you're going to get there. But that kind of is counterproductive almost, because you're forcing something, you're creating friction against something that is really, like I said, so valuable that it can't come fast. Trading can't come to you in 6 months. It just can't. But the systems, I think, can guide you through that journey. They can keep you long-term focused. And you can set milestones. Call them milestones. Don't call them goals. Focus on the systems that'll get you to a milestone. Let's get to another milestone. Let's get to another milestone. Let's set big milestones. So our goals are lofty, our goals, but they're not really goals. They're milestones behind a process, and the process is where it starts. What are you going to say, Buck?
Question on that. How do you balance, or how do you balance that with, like, hey, I'm focused on the system, but how do I know when to quit for the day? How do I know when to, I don't know, I feel like there's a few goal type things in there that.
Okay, so I would challenge
it's just a lack of vocabulary, but maybe.
I think that's exact, bro. You literally just took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say it's a lack of language in the trading plan. I think if you detail that language in the plan, like for me, and I don't know if this is going to answer it exactly for you, but for me, like if I hit more than 2% on a gain in a day, that is my soft daily percentage goal. If I can make 2% a day, I'm very happy. So if I hit that 2%, the language in my plan tells me that I don't need to take any other trades. Manage that trade as I should, practice management there, and then stop. So the language is built into my trading plan to help me reach the goal of being a consistently profitable trader. The language says get off the charts after you already hit that goal. Same thing for losses. And I have a thing with time. I don't take any trade. I have broken the rule going into the Asian session, but I don't take trades normally after 11 a.m. Stop. I got to go to the gym. I need to get the fuck out of here because I know myself. I'll do what you said. I will fight for my goal. I will fight for it so hard. I'll sit here all day. Dude, my eyes don't hurt. I don't need eye drops. I don't need to shower. I'll just keep trading to go to my goal, to get to my goal. I'm going to get to my goal. I need my money. I'm going to get my goal. No, bro. It's the process. So it's like detail that process in the writing and the trading plan a little bit more. It's almost like implementing a new piece to your process if you've never had that before too. You know what I mean? It's almost like, oh, I never had a rule where I had to stop trading. Well, now I do. That's my process. I'm following that. I'm not going after my goal. I'm following my process. Write it down, make it a detailed plan. And that's what I think we should all be trying to follow. And it's hard. Like I just said to you, I still break it sometimes. It's still hard,
So if you're saying dump your goals, but you have a soft 2% goal, then should you change your language to I'm just trading until 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and then I'm done? Because it seems contradictory.
No, I see. Okay, so
I mean, I get what you're saying.
No, the way you're saying it makes sense now. You're saying it's contradicting because the 2% would be a soft goal. I don't look at it as a goal, and I guess that's what I'm saying. It's more of a perspective on that's a part of the plan in the tested system. It's a rule. It's more of like a systematic piece of the process rather than I set that an ambiguous number, vague number that didn't mean anything. I actually picked that number based on my trading previous where I was giving back too much money. So it's like, it is a goal, but I don't look at it as a goal. I'm not shooting for the 2% every day. Maybe that's the different way to look at it. Like I'm not
It's
fighting.
like a binary thing. It's
Did I
like
get it yet?
if this, then that. Yeah.
Bingo.
Okay.
Bingo. Perfect way to look at it. That was a good question. That was good.
Cool.
What else? Anybody else have any questions about this, about the screw the goals, focus on the systems? Is it very clear? Because I want it to be understood, because I have found a lot of value in looking at it this way. Goals are almost, bro, like half of the time I would look at my goals and I would be like, I don't even really want that. I'm saying that because I think I'm supposed to be saying that. Like, I don't even think that that's what I want, because you're conditioned. When you see other people saying their goals are on the internet, you're like, I need all this for my goal. I don't think that that's it. And then once I switched it, and I said this in the VIP chat, I switched it from a monetary goal to I want to help people. The floodgates open. All I started doing was using different language and not focus on a goal, focus on the process of helping one person a day. Every month that we've done that, I've had more people join than the month before, because I'm focused on the process of helping one person a day, excuse me. And if I can help one person a day, I help 35 people a month. I help hundreds. How many people would that be in a quarter? And then times that by 4 for a year.
Well, how many days are in a year?
Am I lagging? I'm frozen.
You're not frozen on my screen.
No, we see you all.
Good on my end.
All right, yeah, see, everybody just came in. Everything froze for me for a quick second. All right, cool. But yeah, everybody got that point? Questions on that? Yeah. Questions on the, what did you say though, Ryan? I'm sorry.
I said, you just did that math so complicated. Like, how many days are in a year?
Yeah, I did.
365.
My bad. You get the point. Okay. Yeah, math is not my strong suit. So 2 more here. Again, about the atomic habits, about these daily habits. We talked about the compounding. And I feel like maybe even Omri, if you could speak on this a little bit, since you were the one that brought this up in the morning, earlier this morning, the patience behind that, the dedication of what that takes. Like Omri is probably one of, I would say, 6 people that have stuck through what I think would make most people quit. Just, I don't even know what goes on in his personal life. I just know the time that I've seen him trying to go after it, most people quit. So where do you find that you've been so good at settling in? Anybody can comment, not just Omri. Where do you guys find confidence to settle in to the compounding, to the delayed effect, like I have in this second bullet, the delayed effect of compounding? How do you settle in? How do you take your coat off on that? Does anybody have any comments to that?
I mean, yeah, I got something a little bit to that maybe. I mean, when I decided that it wasn't about the money anymore, it was more about the value, the equity, because there's a lot more equity out there than just cash and dollar bills. And I found that, like, once I stopped worrying about hitting my monetary goals and worried more about having the patience to put in the time to work on myself and provide value and equity in other areas, that I actually succeeded more in getting the things that I wanted to accomplish. People would, reach out to me and help me achieve what I needed to get done, versus, trying to hit a monetary goal saying, I need this amount of money, or I need to do this in order to achieve that. And so it was getting rid of distractions is what helped me find the patience.
Because the distractions make you think that the goal is supposed to come faster, when in reality, you're supposed to be thinking about the system.
And it would give me the distractions, like playing video games, for instance. I'm not a big video gamer, but I do enjoy playing video games. And once I got rid of my game system, it forced me to be inside my head more. And it forced me to see the problem as it was, instead of saying, you know what, maybe I do just need to relax and step back and play some video games and breathe. And it's like, it's not necessarily the right way to go about it. It's like the patience is found when you're putting yourself in the fire.
And you're uncomfortable.
And you're uncomfortable. Yeah.
I feel like I have to go back to what I said a couple of minutes ago. Like, most people don't want to be left alone with their thoughts like that. They don't want to have to confront that thing that it's like, I'm not that good at that. I'd rather justify it with taking a break and going for a walk, or justifying it by closing the laptop. And you probably remember, we had a rule for a while, and it's still a rule. It's not even a rule. It's like a 10 commandment of trading. If you're following systems, you lose when you close the laptop and you give up. So when you justify, like, oh, I didn't trade well, I need to go take a break, it's like, maybe you didn't trade well and you need to focus on trading more and not take a break. You know what I mean? And put
Yeah.
yourself in that position where you need to actually look at what you did wrong, what you did well. And then, I mean, those are all great points. And I feel like the quote that I have on the third bullet point here, we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems, ties to what you just said and to what Buck was asking me about why the system itself is more important than the goal in any sense, whether it's financial, whether it's trading, whether it's a personal goal. The system, I think, is more important than the goal. And like Brett says in this, Brett Steenbarger said with this quote, you're going to fall to the level of your system. You're not going to rise and you know what I mean? It's a very good approach to it, I think.
I've set a lot of goals that I have not hit. And like you were saying, you know, a lot of people who would try to do what I've done over the past few years would quit because they weren't hitting any of their goals. But it's the systems that I've learned and tried to follow that kept me on track to where I'm headed versus, you know, if I just looked at it in the sense where I didn't hit any of my goals, I would be going in the wrong direction essentially, when I don't feel like that's the case. I feel like I've set big goals and never hit them, but it wasn't like not hitting them that kept me going. It was the systems in place that helped reassure me that, yeah, maybe you didn't hit those goals, but you're still in the right direction.
Exactly. And bro, you're setting me up here. And to then lead into that action, to lead into that, like, it's almost like you have to change the way you approach humans, the people around you, the support around you, because if you can change that, then the result that you cultivate through your trading will then be a byproduct of the atmosphere you're around. So I feel like that's a perfect way to kind of end this section of the slideshow here, talking about the levels of change and how we can implement that. Because even if you go back to this slide, like I said here, the outcomes are a lagging measure of your habits. So we fall to the level of our systems and we don't rise to the level of our goals, and the outcomes of everything that we do are literally a direct representation of your habits. So when we want to change a habit, whether it's small or big, and I think they should all start small. If you're not doing markups, you want to start doing 10. If you are doing markups, you want to go to 20. There's levels to making that change happen. And I think the best way to change those habits are to think about who you want to become and who you want to be perceived by the world as. And that's because habits are action, and actions create the image of ourselves to the world. And like I said before, how the world views us is important for how we view ourselves, and how we view ourselves is important for our future success. It's all tied together. So again, the best way to change is to think about who do you want to become. And you don't want to necessarily say, I want to become the best trader. I want to become the most financially independent. I don't think that that is a good way to go about life. I don't think that's the purpose of why we're here as people, to bring something into the earth. I think the better way to think about it is, if you're constantly updating your beliefs and you're constantly expanding your identity and who you are, you're constantly then aware of how the world perceives you, and then you're going to be able to make adjustments, make these changes, and change your habits to control that perception. And again, if the world perceives you in a way that's positive, uplifting, and that you bring things into the world rather than take from them, that type of attitude translates very well into trading. It's an abundant mindset versus a lack of mindset. Everybody with me? Any questions on levels of change or what I said here about tying this in? Because I think it's important to understand, again, the best way to change your habits is think about, who the fuck do you want to become? Who do you want to be known for? And all of that taps into the why. Why are you making the change? What is driving you to become that person? So if you have that why, Santiago, when you really tap into that, all of this stuff is like the lighter fluid, and that is your fire. And this will make the fire huge, because you're going to understand how these little things work within the why. All right. Are we ready to get into charts? Yes?